Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days, or today's second video, which will take us to around the 12th of May. We'll also be able to extend out beyond that, though, with the extended GFS and also ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. Have a look at Beijing Climate Centre for the next 40 days today as well. That's going to take us into June. We have just released the Gazov's May 2019 month-end forecast. Going for a rather mixed month, quite cool and unsettled in the first half, warmer and drier in the second half, so the two sort of offsetting one another. Have a look at the weekend forecast and see what's going on there. Right, so if I get on with the video, just to say that if you're enjoying the video content at the moment, please consider becoming a patron for Gazovitz. We've got 60 patrons so far. Hello, and big thank you to our 60 patrons. If you would like to become a patron for Gazovitz, all you need to do is come to Gazovitz's Patreon page. We link to this on all the pages at gazovitz.com and in the description at YouTube. So you just come here, sign up for a Patreon account, and then you can pledge an ongoing monthly donation to Gazovitz. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards. You will pool in with everybody else. And the idea is that you're helping us to fund the website and keep the content online. So a big thank you to our 60 patrons. And hello, and hope you're enjoying the content that we're delivering for you. If you would rather just give a one-off donation, you can certainly do that through PayPal. So this is the Gazovitz PayPal page. You just come here, sign into your PayPal account, very simply, and you can send a one-off donation to Gazovitz. Now, whether you do it through Patreon or PayPal, you will get a mention in the videos. We'll say thank you very much and give you a shout-out, so you get yourself mentioned in the videos. Of course, you might want a mention for your website or for your business, anything like that. We're happy to do that as well. We'll even visit your website and show it in the video if you would like to. So it's however you want. It's however you want the mention, really. And of course, a few people have chosen to stay anonymous with this. If you'd like to do that, then all you need to do is leave a little note with your donation or when you become a patron, and tell us you'd rather not have mention at all. We will still say thank you to this anonymous person, so you'll kind of still get a mention, but you won't get your name mentioned. So it's however you want it. We're happy to give it to you however you want it. And a big thank you to all of the patrons. Big thank you to all of the donors. As I say, we're primarily ads funded. Will be remaining so, but the revenue we earn from advertisements is dropping year by year, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But as the money we get from advertisements drops, we need to come up with other revenue streams. This has been a very popular revenue stream that we've been running since June last year, so we're coming up to a year now since we started with this, and it has been a huge success. 60 patrons in a year, I think, is really, really good. So a big thank you to all of our patrons, big thank you to all of our donors as well, and I hope you're all enjoying the content. Right, so I'm going to start off with the radar picture from the Weather Outlook. This is the latest, and we have got some pretty big showers out there this afternoon. So you can see that there are some pretty vibrant colours here on the radar image at the moment, particularly from parts of Wales into the Midlands, excuse me, and they go northwards in towards northern parts of England, heading up into southwestern parts of Scotland. That's where the heaviest showers are at the moment. Not too many, though, down in the south. There may be a few more sparking off down there into this afternoon. But I think for the south, actually, the shower risk will be greater tomorrow as a cold front drops south, introducing colder air from the north. It may pep up a little bit tomorrow afternoon, and that's probably the greatest shower risk down across the southern part of the country tomorrow afternoon. There is a little bit of lightning in with this as well. So you can see a few flashes there across York. If we zoom in, there's some lightning flashing away over York. I would suspect we'll see a few more flashes of lightning and rumbles of thunder out of these downpours through the course of this afternoon. Again, if we zoom in, you can see there are some pretty vibrant colours in there. I tell you, there is some pretty torrential rain, especially across parts of northern England. So watch out for those showers through Wales and Midlands, northern England in particular. There will be some big downpours around today. Hail, thunder, lightning certainly possible, and the potential for a little bit of flash flooding as well. And of course, this is heralding the change to much colder conditions coming up for the end of week and into the bank holiday weekend as well. Central temperature, we haven't had that updated for a few days, so I know some of you are waiting to see where the CET has finished up for April. We're still waiting, so sorry about that. This is the latest that we have from Hadley up to the 27th of April. It was standing at 9.4, 1.7 degrees above average. I think we're going to come out very close to 9 degrees. I think it'll be very, very close to around 9.0. But whether we're like a tenth or so of a degree below or above that, or whether we are at 9.0 right on the nose, I think we're just going to wait and see, because as I say, they haven't updated it since 27th of April. It's rather annoying that we're still waiting to get April's confirmed CET number in, and as soon as we get it, obviously we will bring you up to date with what's happened there. Right, let's zoom out then, and we're going to have a look at our climate averages for the UK. We have got those updated for April. Very unusual for these charts for the UK-wide temperature and precipitation anomalies. Very unusual for those to be updated before the CET comes in. Normally the first thing to come in is the CET, but obviously there's some sort of delay going on at Hadley bringing in the CET. This is the mean temperature anomaly for the UK for April 2019. See, generally it was a warmer than average month. This is set against 81 to 2010. We're not going to be using 61 to 19 anymore. I've made an executive decision. We won't be using that old and cold temperature anomaly anymore at gas levels, except when we look at the CET. There's nothing we can do about that. Unfortunately, they still compare the central England temperature to 61 to 1990 in terms of those anomalies to average. So there's nothing we can do to get around that. But as far as the UK-wide data is confirmed, it will always be compared against 81 to 2010 now, as will our long-range forecast as well. It's becoming too silly to still be using 61 to 1990 temperature averages. Anyway, this is how April 2019 is comparing to 81 to 2010. So it was a milder average month for most parts of the country. The lowest anomaly to average, which was close to average really, is on this east side, a little bit above average on the east side. But in the west and the northwest, it was above average of the mean temperature anomaly. Mean maximum looks like that. So again, above average for most parts of the country, particularly interestingly for the northwest of Scotland. And mean minimum temperatures, well, actually a little bit on the cooler than average side, on the eastern side of the country, interestingly, with the mean minimum temperature. I assume that's because we have quite a lot of easterly winds, which probably led to fairly chilly conditions by night in the east. So in the west and north, generally above average day and night. In the east, particularly, it was still a little bit above average by day, but a little bit cooler than average, interestingly, at night too. Precipitation anomalies, rainfall anomalies for April 2019. Generally quite a dry month again for most parts of the country, particularly parts of eastern Britain, also much of Scotland coming out driving average. Out in the west, it was a little bit more unsettled with nearer normal precipitation. We can show you a few more other things with these. It's always very interesting to have a look at. So let's have a look at sunshine. You can see that generally it was quite a sunny month, above average sunshine, particularly for central, northern and eastern parts of the country. Most places coming out with around 110 to 130% of average. Down in the southwest and across Northern Ireland, it was a little bit duller than average, though, around 70 to 90% of average, so a little bit down on average for Northern Ireland and southwestern parts of England. But for any central, northern, east parts of the country, it was a very sunny April. As far as air frost is concerned, let's have a look at that. So generally, actually a little bit above average with air frost across eastern parts of the country, a little bit below average with air frost in the north and in the west too. Lightning strikes, we can show you that. So we can't show you that actually. We can show you days of thunder perhaps, no we can't. Can we show you snow lying? No. So there are a few things that haven't been updated yet, but we can show you days of frost, we can show you sunshine. And let's see if there's anything else we can show you. So I think that pretty much, we can have a look at grass minimum temperatures as well. So the grass temperature, ground frost, was fairly common across the east part of the country, but it wasn't as common out in the west and in the north. So quite a bit you can see with those climate averages. Always just have a look at those. I'll leave a description to this page in the link to this page in the description at YouTube, and we link to the UK Met on the links page at Gazwebbies anyway. And as soon as we get the CET number in, of course, for April, we will bring that to you as soon as they update it. Then you'll know when we know. Right, so this is how things are looking for the next week to 10 days. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS, which you'll have a look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 litres, an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. When it extrapolates to above average heights, which is high pressure. Got to make sure I get this wrong. I know the last time I did it, I got it the wrong way round, and I was informed in the comments that I've made a mistake, so I've got to make sure I get this right. Red is extrapolating to above average heights. That's high pressure. Blue is extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure. Been using these charts since 2012, so you think by now I'd know what blue and red are extrapolating to, but sometimes I do get a little bit tongue-tied. So this is the 500 millibar high anomaly for next week, 10 days, and it takes around the 12th of May. We've got below average heights to the north and to west of the country, and we're bringing in the westerlies. We got a bit of a blocking scene up to the north as well. That looks unsettled. Cloud and outbreaks of rain will be rolling in from the Atlantic, and it looks like a pretty unsettled spell as we're going into the second week of May. The GFS is very similar, but if anything, it's even more unsettled, with a deep trough of below average heights, deep trough of low pressure in the 500 millibar flow, centred right over top of the UK. We also have a bit of a blocking signal, quite a strong blocking signal, actually up to our north. So that is forcing the jet stream southwards and forcing pretty cool air into this trough of low pressure. So the upshot is, it looks pretty unsettled, and it looks quite cool as well as we're going through the first half of May. Not particularly good trends for the first half of May, but then bear in mind we have had a prolonged dry spell, so we do need to make the rain up, especially across southern and eastern parts of the country. So it could be that we're going to make up a little bit of rain in the first half of May. These are the GFS upper air and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. Looking at London today, so we're close to average for today, but temperatures are on the slide. It's going to get colder, as we've been flagging up quite a bit over the past few days. Getting colder as we run into the bank holiday weekend. There will be a risk of night frost and some wintry showers up in the north as well. Through the middle part of next week, temperatures do stay something of a recovery, but it's associated with low pressure, so it's going to be very unsettled. As we head further into the second week of May, it looks like those temperatures are going quite cold again. So overall, this looks like a very cool, but also very unsettled start to May. So we see we have got quite a bit of precipitation coming up in the next couple of days. That's as this cold front plunges southwards, of course. It's going to trigger, well, it's triggering showers already, or like the instability in the atmosphere today is triggering showers. Tomorrow there'll be more showers down in the south. Over the weekend it is going to go drier, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but then into next week, or from around Tuesday onwards next week anyway, it does look much more unsettled once again, with some big rainfall spikes actually through the middle part of next week, looking quite wet then. And generally staying a little bit on the unsettled side, I think, as we head up towards maybe even a little bit beyond the middle part of May. Temperature anomalies from the 2nd to the 10th of May, below average through most parts of the UK, Ireland, and the vast majority of Europe as well. So again, we talked about this in video yesterday. This is quite a fundamental change in the weather pattern that we've got here through the first half of May. It is looking a lot cooler, not just for the UK, but through most parts of Europe as well. That's why this is such a fundamental change. It's not something that's localised just to the far northwest of Europe. Actually, this is looking like a very significant pattern change through many parts of Europe in the week ahead. And so it is a colder than average week, or a cooler than average week that we've got coming up, and also unsettled. So the precipitation anomaly from the 2nd to the 10th of May is above average for the UK and Ireland. And most parts of Europe, again, you see, are on the wetter than average side. So, as I say, this is a very significant pattern change that we've got here for the first half of May. This is how the 6 o'clock GFS operational run was looking. So, high pressure out to the north and west on Sunday, bringing down quite a chilly northerly wind. The only saving grace that this high pressure will be ridging in across the country as we go further through the bank holiday weekend. So we will lose the worst of that northerly wind that we're going to have, particularly on Saturday. I think it's shoved off into the North Sea. So it will feel less cold as we progress through the bank holiday weekend, but certainly at night there will be an ongoing frost risk. Into bank holiday Monday, still under high pressure, but the ridge is weakening, and keep an eye on this low pressure in the middle of the North Atlantic, just there. That's only going in one way, and as we get through into Tuesday and Wednesday, here we go, we open the door to that area of low pressure to rattling from off the Atlantic. So that looks really unsettled through the middle of next week, with showers or longer spells of rain. Winds are coming in from a west-southwest direction, so it's getting milder. Temperatures will be lifting up. There'll be no problems with temperatures, but there is going to be much more wet weather around through the middle part of next week. And then into the second half of next week, you just keep that low pressure sitting over the top of the country, troughing in the 500 millibar flow, bringing showers or longer spells of rain. And we keep it pretty unsettled as we get to day 10, which is Sunday the 12th of May. We're still more or less dominated by low pressure, so at the very least it'll be showery. And it's getting colder again, or cooler, as the wind is turning back into the north once more. A little bit of a ridge building here in more extended range with this particular GFS run. However, it all looks rather flimsy, and even right up to the very end of the GFS run, which is taking us to Saturday the 18th of April. Overall, still looking rather unsettled, you'd have to say. This ridge does look quite flimsy. You'd expect more showers at the very least to be plaguing northern and western parts of the country, and not particularly warm temperatures either. This is the GFS parallel run. Again, on Sunday, we've got this ridge building down from the north, so it could be relatively settled bank holiday weekend, but temperatures will be disappointing. Then through next week, again, we open the door to that low pressure, turns really unsettled through the middle part of next week, with showers or longer spells of rain. And these unsettled conditions take us into the second half of next week as well. The winds will always be from the west-southwest direction, so no real problems with temperatures. It will be relatively mild, I think, at least through the middle part of next week. But just looks very unsettled, really. And even beyond day 10, keeping low pressure influences going. No particular area of high pressure being signalled there up to the 18th of April. So unsettled conditions are maintained even into the middle and second half of May with the GFS output today. ECMWF, again, we've got this ridge building down from the north on Sunday, so relatively dry but quite cool for the second half bank holiday weekend. And then next week, again, here comes a low pressure moving in from off the Atlantic with showers or longer spells of rain. Some really quite wet weather, I think, through the middle part of next week, affecting all parts of the country. Second half of next week, that low pressure moves away to our east. We start to pull down cooler air from the north again, with further showers or longer spells of rain. And as we head up towards day 10, Sunday the 12th of May, where we're still looking unsettled. Look at this, we've still got low pressure downstream in the Atlantic. There's an area of low pressure there. There's another one there. Those low pressures are only going in one direction, as the jet stream is only going in one direction, and it's in that direction. So if we could roll on another 24 hours, I suspect we would see these areas of low pressure moving into the country, bringing further bouts of wet weather as we go from the week starting Monday the 13th of May. These are the options that we've got on the table within the GFS ensembles today from the Icelandic Met Office. These are the options we've got on the table for day 10. which is going to be the 12th of May. So we've got 29 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and operation run. The operation run is the run we're just looking at, of course, that are very unsettled. They've got below average heights out to our west, above average heights to our south, and they're bringing the low pressure in from off the Atlantic. There's 22 that have low pressure more stalled in the middle of the Atlantic, and they are building up more of a ridge to the south and over the UK. So those ones are trying to settle us down. Whether this low pressure in the Atlantic would actually roll in over the top of that ridge, I'm not sure. Possibly it would do. But those 22 anyway are trying to turn us a little bit more settled at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This is going to be for the 17th of May. And men's size of a change. So we've got 22 members of the ECM ensembles with a ridge of high pressure over the UK. So obviously they're mainly dry and settled as we get through into the second half of May. The jet stream will be going northwards. A lot of dry weather on offer with those. 17, still a little bit unsettled, low pressure out to the west. It does include BCM control run as well. High pressure trying to build to the south. They're a bit more unsettled with those 17. And then there's another 12 that have high pressure just out to the west-northwest of us. They're bringing in rather cool north to northeasterlies, but again, they are a lot drier. So it does look as though the trend is still there, actually, that for the second half of May, we are possibly, excuse me, again, within the ECM ensembles anyway, seeing a shift towards more anticyclonic weather. Let's just have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre finally before we go. So we did look at the 30-day anomalies for the Beijing Climate Centre and the CFS for our month-ahead forecast, for our May month-ahead forecast, but I'll break that down now into 10-day periods for you. So this is how the 500 millibar height anomaly is looking from the Beijing Climate Centre for the first 10 days of May. Looks quite unsettled, below average heights throughout to the west. There's some above average heights to the south and also to the north. And a deep trough is in over Scandinavia. So it's a real messy situation. We've got different air masses all over the place, really. But it does look as though relatively mixed and relatively cool conditions take us through the first 10 days of May. Then we go through to the next 10-day period. This one takes us from the 11th through to the 20th of May. Just looks more straightforwardly unsettled, really. Low pressure is out to the north and west. High pressure is to our south and southeast across Central Europe. The flows coming in from the Atlantic. So that just looks generally unsettled as we go from the 11th to the 20th of May. And then it gets worse for the next 10-day period. So no sign with the Beijing Climate Centre of high pressure taking over in the second half of the month. Actually, the Beijing Climate Centre turns us even more unsettled from the 21st through to the 30th of May, with below average heights almost parked over the top of the country. That's a deep trough within the 500 millibar flow, and the jet is to our south. So this is a very unsettled May that the Beijing Climate Centre is forecasting today. It's going for substantially above average precipitation for the month and below average pressure as well, low pressure dominating through the month. And not great into the early part of June either. This is the day 31 to 40 500 millibar height anomaly. It takes us from the 31st of May to the 9th of June. Bit of a northern blocking signal, which is never a particularly good sign in the summer. High pressure close to Greenland and a trough still in the 500 millibar flow, albeit more shallow across the UK, would be bringing in east or northeasterly winds. But the trough would still be keeping us quite unsettled. Summer would be over on the eastern side of Europe and into western Russia, where we've got that ridge of high pressure there. That would be bringing up hot southerly winds into the east of Europe. But out in the northwest, we'd actually be plagued by relatively cool north or northeasterly winds through the first 10 days of June. Not very good signs from the Beijing Climate Centre, but then it is only one model, so don't be overly concerned about it. But it is certainly going for a very unsettled May, and it does want to extend that really into the early part of June as well. So we shall see about that. Obviously, these long-range models are very prone to chopping and changing. I'm sure if we looked at the CFS V2, we will find it showing a very different picture for May and even into June as well. So don't worry about that. Concentrate on the next week to 10 days. And it is looking unsettled, though, through the course of next week. I think we are going to have some bouts of wet weather taking us through next week, running up probably to the middle of the month, quite unsettled and relatively cool. And then we'll be looking to see whether we build this high pressure in for the second half of the month. Do we turn it drier and warmer in the second half of May? Or is the Beijing Climate Centre right? Do we keep it unsettled even into second half May? If we do, we could get our first colder than average month for a very long time. I think we're going to go back. Not sure, possibly is it November, maybe September last year, not sure, one of the autumn months anyway, that was our last colder than average month. And also could be quite a wet month as well. So we'll see about that. It's all very speculative. Certainly the first half of May is looking cool and unsettled. We're anticipating we'll turn it drier and warmer in the second half of the month. And we shall see what happens. Talking of May weather prospects, we'll have JMA Friday coming up for you tomorrow. It'll be your month-ahead look ahead with the Japanese and CFSB tomorrow. Obviously, we'll have another week's 10-day video update as well. And also tomorrow, we're going to have our 7th and final update for the May Day Bank Holiday weekend. Keep dodging those heavy showers that we got for the rest of this afternoon, but that's all for now, and thanks for watching.